Hey guys, welcome back to Movies Music Mania. I'm your host Tristan, and today we're going to be talking about the 75th Annual Golden Globe Nominations, which were released yesterday morning. Sorry I didn't get a reaction out. The reason is because with the Golden Globes, they do have a press conference where they release all the nominations, but it is very raw footage. It's not like, they don't make a show of it like with the Oscars, and for the Oscars I'm definitely going to be posting an actual reaction. But with the Globes, I'm basically going to go through the different categories and give my predictions and talk about what I think was snubbed, what I think was really surprising, and what this all means for the Oscars. This year was really disappointing with the Globes. They snubbed some really great films here, but they also awarded some that maybe I wasn't expecting. I'm pretty happy about. So I'm going to go through all of them from the less important categories to the really important ones and kind of talk about what I think. So first we've got Best Foreign Language Film. The nominees were A Fantastic Woman, First They Killed My Father, In the Fade, Loveless, and The Square. This is pretty much how I thought it was going to go down. I know some awards sites were predicting stuff like Tom of Finland, Foxtrot, Thelma. Thelma I still think has a chance at the Oscars, just because that film is really gaining some buzz, and it's actually starting to not go wide, but go to more theaters, so more people get to see that film. But with these other films, I think most of them were pretty predictable. The only one that I am shocked is that BPM didn't get in. I thought that BPM would take In the Fade's spot for sure, just because BPM is probably the most acclaimed foreign film of the entire year, and I thought it was going to run away with the award. It is a very timely film. It's one that a lot of people are talking about. It won prizes at Cannes, and it's just been doing really great at all the festivals, at all the awards leading up to this. I'm shocked that it was not nominated for this. I thought it was going to win for sure. I think it will be nominated for the Oscar. The Globes with the foreign film category, it doesn't always align. I think Elle won last year, and Elle wasn't even eligible for the Oscars. It didn't make the next cut. So for this one, it's tough, because The Square is a very divisive film. It's one that not everyone loves. You either love it or you were kind of mixed on it, and a lot of people are very mixed on this film. So I don't think it's going to win this, even though it did win the Palme d'Or at Cannes. In the Fade is another one that some people are really hating, actually. It's not getting the acclaim that certain other films in this category are. Same thing with First They Killed My Father, Angelina Jolie's new film. Very timely subject matter, very heart-wrenching, but a lot of reviews are calling it borderline gratuitous. For me, I think it's between Loveless and A Fantastic Woman. Loveless is getting tons of acclaim. It's one of the most acclaimed films of the year. Apparently it's very heart-wrenching. I haven't seen it. And A Fantastic Woman has very timely subject matter. Don't quote me on this, but I don't think Chile has ever been nominated. So that's another thing, like representing a country that hasn't really had that big of a shot at Best Foreign Film before. So for now, I'm going to go with A Fantastic Woman. I think that one could run away with it, because that continuously is gaining steam, and I think that it could get the win here, but don't count out Loveless. For Best Animated Film, The Boss Baby was nominated. That's a thing. The Breadwinner, Coco, Ferdinand, and Loving Vincent. Now, it's a very weak year for animation this year. I'm a huge animation fan, and there really hasn't been anything that great other than Coco, which was, it's Pixar, and it's a return to form, and it was just really great. I really loved it. It might be in my top 10 of the year. A lot of people are just loving that film. So Coco is definitely going to win this category. Loving Vincent is a film that maybe the story itself, not everybody is loving just because of the way it was told, but the animation, based solely on just the actual craft of it, is phenomenal. If you guys don't know what Loving Vincent is, it is the first fully painted animated movie. So basically what they did was they used mocap with paintings, and they got like a ton of different artists to mimic Van Gogh's style to create this fully painted film, and it's incredible. And then The Breadwinner is another one that's gaining a huge amount of acclaim. Ferdinand, I'm actually kind of excited for that movie because the more I hear about it, apparently it's pretty good. So that one I'm not too upset about it getting in here. It just got screened, I'm pretty sure, and apparently it's a pretty solid movie. Boss Baby, no chance at an Oscar nomination. That's just ridiculous. I think Lego Batman is definitely going to get the nomination there. Even Cars 3 could have got a nomination. That was a pretty solid film. Boss Baby is just one of the worst movies of the year. It's terrible. I'm shocked that it was nominated. Original song. So this is another category I am really upset about. We've got Home from Ferdinand, Mighty River Mudbound, which is awesome, Remember Me Coco, The Star, and This Is Me, The Greatest Showman. Now, here's the thing. This Is Me, I definitely knew was going to get in there. I actually thought it was going to be a different song from The Greatest Showman, but I like This Is Me. I think it's a pretty solid song. Remember Me is fantastic. It's probably going to win. It is going to win, actually. I can't see anything else winning. The other ones I wasn't predicting. I'm really happy about Mighty River. That is a very solid song. It is very powerful in the film. And I'm just happy that Mudbound's on the board here. It's a great movie and it's not getting enough recognition. But The Star, like, come on. And the Globes usually pick some really weird stuff. Like, they chose Faith from Sing last year, which didn't show up anywhere else. So I don't think The Star's really going to show anywhere else. Same with Home. I can't really see Ferdinand getting a song nomination at the Oscars. Now, those two spots will definitely go to, in arguably two of the biggest snubs here, Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name, which is an absolute masterpiece, and Evermore from Beauty and the Beast, which is just a great song. So I can't believe those two weren't nominated. Those were, I thought they were locks. I thought Mystery of Love maybe could win. I thought Evermore could pull an upset. If this category tells us anything, I think it just enhances Remember Me's chances of winning, and I'm not upset about that, because that song is fantastic and it works so well in that film. Now, Best Original Score, we've got Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, which is awesome. I love that score. Shape of Water, Phantom Thread, The Post, and Dunkirk. So, Three Billboards I didn't really expect getting on the board. I think it's really cool that it is. The Post, I think, because Star Wars wasn't screened in time for the Golden Globes, I think when Oscar time comes around, I'm pretty sure, since John Williams scored both Star Wars and The Post, that Star Wars will get nominated instead of The Post, because it's Star Wars. It's got, like, the best score ever. This is a really tight category this year, and I'm happy with a lot of these nominations. I think Shape of Water is going to run away with it, because that score is beautiful. It's easily my favorite score of the entire year, and it just really gives the film this magical quality that I really admire. Moving on to Best Screenplay, and this is a category that there are some major snubs in, so let's talk about that. So the nominees are Shape of Water, Lady Bird, The Post, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and Molly's Game. In this category, there are some major snubs. First of all, the front runner to win Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars, Call Me By Your Name, was not even nominated. That script is probably the best of the year, so that's really shocking. And then Get Out, which was another one that had a phenomenal screenplay, was not nominated either. I thought, I wasn't, like, I know some people are really upset about Get Out not getting a nomination. I thought it was either going to be Get Out or The Big Sick. I think The Big Sick has a better screenplay, to be honest, but both are great. And I don't think anyone should be worried here. I think Get Out is definitely going to get a nomination for Best Screenplay at the Oscars. That's almost a given. But the fact that Call Me By Your Name wasn't nominated for Best Screenplay is kind of crazy. But for this category, I think it's definitely going to be Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, but Molly's Game could definitely pull an upset here. Moving on to Best Director, we've got Guillermo del Toro, The Shape of Water, Martin McDonagh, Three Billboards, Christopher Nolan, Dunkirk, Steven Spielberg, The Post, and the shock of the entire nominations, Ridley Scott for All the Money in the World, which is not even finished yet. I'm not even joking. The film's not finished yet. The Globe saw a unfinished copy of the film. So I think that's sketchy. I'm a little ticked that Greta Gerwig was not nominated for Lady Bird and that Luca Guadagnino was not nominated for Call Me By Your Name. I think those two were givens, and I'm shocked. Martin McDonagh did a great job, but I think his script is what elevated that movie, what made it so great. I don't think the directing is necessarily, you know, what made that film so good. He's a great director, don't get me wrong, but he's probably going to win Best Script anyway, and he deserves it for original screenplay. So I don't think he deserves a director nomination, especially in a crowded category. I know a lot of people are talking about Jordan Peele for Get Out. Come on, it's 5 nominations. He gave, like, if there were 6, I'd understand it for sure. I'd understand why people are upset. But I don't think he did a better job directing Get Out than Greta Gerwig did with Lady Bird or Luca Guadagnino with Call Me By Your Name. As for winner, I think Nolan's going to win, and I think he deserves it, but Del Toro could pull an upset here. Moving on to Best Supporting Actress, we've got Mary J. Blige, Mudbound, Hong Chow, Downsizing. Now, I've got a lot to say about that in just a minute. Allison Janney, I, Tonya, Laurie Metcalf, Lady Bird, and Octavia Spencer, The Shape of Water. Okay, so this is a weird category. It really is. There's so many different people that could get nominated here. I think the only real locks are, like, for the Oscars, are Laurie Metcalf and Allison Janney. I think Mary J. Blige could be a lock, but the problem with that one is that I don't know how the Academy is going to act towards Mudbound because of Netflix. They don't really like Netflix, so they could either give her the nomination, basically apologizing for not giving Idris Elba the nomination for Beasts of No Nation, because that was a Netflix movie and they snubbed that. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. Hong Chow getting nominated is just, like, it's stupid. I've seen Downsizing, and I love Alexander Payne. He's one of my favorite directors. I was so excited for Downsizing. It was one of my most anticipated movies of the entire year. It was such a mess. It was just not a good movie. And Hong Chow is a big reason of why that movie didn't work. Her character was almost stereotypically racist. And the thing is, if you see her in interviews, she has an American accent. But her accent was so overdone, and they played it for laughs, and it was almost racist. It was very offensive, actually. So, I don't think she should have been nominated. I don't think she did a very good job at all. And Octavia Spencer, I don't think should have been nominated either. At this point, she's becoming Meryl Streep, because she was a, like, comedic sidekick in the movie. She didn't have anything of weight, and I can't believe she was nominated. But, like, Holly Hunter was not in here, which I thought she might have gotten a nomination. She was really good in the movie. I don't know if necessarily Oscar-worthy, but this year, it's kind of a weak category for supporting actress, so I could see her, you know, slipping in at the Oscars, especially because The Big Sick is such a good movie. I can either see Laurie Metcalf or Allison Janney taking it. I think both give phenomenal performances. I'm going to give it to Allison Janney personally, even though Lady Bird's one of my favorite movies of the entire year. Allison Janney blew me away in this movie. I thought she was fantastic. I think Laurie Metcalf might win it, though, which wouldn't be upsetting because she gives an amazing performance as well. Supporting actor, we've got Willem Dafoe, The Florida Project, Armie Hammer for Call Me By Your Name, and Richard Jenkins, Shape of Water, Christopher Plummer, All the Money in the World, and Sam Rockwell, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This is a really solid 5. Christopher Plummer being here, I think is definitely more understandable than Ridley Scott for Best Director, especially because the thing with, if you guys didn't know, Ridley Scott completely took Kevin Spacey out of the film a month before its release and switched him with Christopher Plummer, who had to film his scenes in a week. You know, it's Christopher Plummer. He's a great actor. I could definitely see him giving a great performance in the film. The film's not even finished yet, so I think they just finished it today, and they're screening it on Friday in full. So, again, I think it's a bit sketchy that they're nominating him based on a rough cut that they saw, but whatever. For winner, I think that Dafoe's gonna win, and I think he deserves it. I could see Sam Rockwell maybe pulling on the upset, but probably not. Maybe Armie Hammer, but I think Willem Dafoe is gonna take it here, and he deserves it. He's amazing in that movie. Now we're getting to the really big categories. We've got Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy, Judi Dench, Victoria and Abdul, Helen Mirren, The Leisure Seeker, that's not even a 2017 movie, Margot Robbie, I, Tonya, Saoirse Ronan, Lady Bird, and Emma Stone, Battle of the Sexes. The Globes always put in a film that no one's heard of, and that's The Leisure Seeker, but the movie comes out in 2018, and I don't think it is even running an Oscar campaign, so I don't get it. I'm pretty sure it's set to release like March or April. Maybe it's running an Oscar campaign that I don't know about. I have no idea. I'm shocked that she was in there, but whatever. It's really between Saoirse and Margot. I think more Saoirse, but Margot probably will get a nomination for the Oscars as well. Yeah, I'd give it to Saoirse, and I think she's gonna win for sure. Then we've got Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy. Steve Carell, Battle of Sexes, very well deserved. His performance is very overlooked, and I thought it's one of the best of the year for sure. Although he is a supporting actor, he's not the lead, so that's weird. Ansel Elgort, Baby Driver, which is complete crap. James Franco, The Disaster Artist. Hugh Jackman, The Greatest Showman, which is probably complete crap. And Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out. Ansel Elgort didn't do anything special. It's the editing that made that film so cool. And for Best Editing at the Oscars, I think it'll definitely get a nomination. But Ansel Elgort really didn't do anything special here. And Hugh Jackman for The Greatest Showman, I'm hearing bad things about that movie. People saw it, I think, yesterday or the day before, and early reactions are saying it's really weird and it's not very good. So, I don't know. Now we are going to Best Actress Drama. Jessica Chastain, Molly's Game. Sally Hawkins, Shape of Water. Frances McDormand, 3 Billboards. Meryl Streep, The Post. And Michelle Williams, All the Money in the World. This is a stacked category, and it's really a two-way race between McDormand and Hawkins. I think McDormand is going to win it, and I think she deserves it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Hawkins gets it, because she was amazing in that movie. And she was amazing in Maudie, which also came out this year. I don't know, it's really a two-way race between them. I think Jessica Chastain getting a nomination shows that she is still in the Oscar race, and I think it's going to be between her and Margot to see who gets that 5th spot. Maybe they'll both kick out Streep. I don't know. I don't think I see that happening because it's Streep, and apparently she's amazing in The Post. Michelle Williams in All the Money in the World, again, that's a very strange thing. I'm shocked that movie is getting as much love as it did here. Best Actor Drama. Timothée Chalamet, Call Me By Your Name. Daniel Day-Lewis, Phantom Thread. Tom Hanks, The Post. Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour. And Denzel Washington, Roman J. Israel, Esquire. Denzel getting a nomination instead of Jake Gyllenhaal for Stronger is kind of ridiculous. But apparently he's great in the film. Just Stronger has a much better reputation. Gyllenhaal doesn't get enough love. Denzel, he's a great actor. I don't think you should award him for performances that are good when you've got Jake Gyllenhaal giving a great performance. But other than that, this is a really solid category. I'll give it to them. It's really a tight race between Oldman and Chalamet, maybe even Day-Lewis, but I heard that performance is more understated. It's not one of his best performances. I'd probably say Oldman. I haven't seen Darkest Hour. Right now, I'd give it to Chalamet because he was amazing in that movie, but based on what I've seen in the trailer, I think Oldman is on like a whole other level from most people. It looks like a career-defining performance, so I could see him definitely pulling a win, and I think he probably deserves it. So now we're at Best Picture, Musical or Comedy, The Disaster Artist, Get Out, Greatest Showman, I, Tonya, and Lady Bird. So here's the thing, The Big Sick was totally shut out from the Globes, and I thought it definitely had a chance to get nominated here in Best Musical or Comedy. I'm shocked that The Greatest Showman was nominated instead of The Big Sick, especially considering that movie apparently isn't very good. Other than that, this is very solid. I know a lot of people are getting upset about Get Out being nominated for musical or comedy. It's not a drama. I mean, it's not. Look at what these movies are about. I know it's got some commentary about racism, but Jordan Peele infuses a lot of humor into that film. At its core, that movie is a horror movie, and there is no category for horror, and it's got a lot of satirical humor in there. It's dealing with important subject matter, but in a humorous way, and an effective way as well. It blends horror and comedy perfectly, and that's why I think it's a funny movie. It's not a laugh-out-loud comedy, but it's not a drama either. Compared to stuff like Call Me By Your Name, Dunkirk, The Post, these are movies that have no humor in them. I could see Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Some people are like, that should have been switched with Get Out. Three Billboards is a much darker film. Get Out is a horror movie, but it does carry a lighter tone, and Daniel Kaluuya's performance is humorous. The facial expressions, everything that he, watching it through his eyes and just seeing how weird this whole situation is pretty funny. So yeah, I think it does deserve a nomination in Best Musical Comedy. And I don't think that's going to affect its chances of getting a Best Picture nomination. I'm still thinking it could get in there for sure. Now moving on to Best Drama, Call Me By Your Name, Dunkirk, The Post, The Shape of Water, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This is exactly how I predicted it. Some people thought maybe Darkest Hour instead of The Post, but I think this solidifies The Post's chances at being like a front runner for Best Picture. Now these are all really strong contenders here. Oh, I forgot who I said would win for musical or comedy. I think Lady Bird's got it for sure. But for drama, this is tough. This is really tough because you've got Call Me By Your Name, which had a lot of momentum, and it is getting a lot of awards. Dunkirk is another one. From a technical level, that movie is incredible, so I could definitely see that pulling a win here. The Post is very relevant. Shape of Water is getting a ton of momentum. And while Three Billboards might not seem like a film to win an award, that sort of thing, just because it's Marty McDonagh and it's got a lot of dark humor in there and it's very profane, it's also got a ton of heart, and it's one of the most beloved films of the year for sure. For me, I'm gonna say Call Me By Your Name wins this, but I wouldn't be surprised if any of these take it, to be honest. It's a tough category, but anyways, let me know your predictions in the comments. Sorry this ran so long. I just get really passionate when I talk about this sort of stuff. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments, and see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.